Okay, listen up, y'all. I don't have anything scripted here today. I got my dogs here. And I just gotta say, y'all, this is all just too much. I have some thoughts I want to express to the people at large, and I will pick a date, a meaningful date, to gather people and to discuss these things. And you know, there's a lot of complex ideas going on, and I think it's very important to be mentally flexible and to be able to change your perspective on certain topics. And I just feel like we don't see that at all in modern politics. Everyone continues by party lines, by colors, regardless of the right or wrong of the issue. And we all have to have a higher standard for the kinds of data we're willing to accept. And what I mean by that is you can listen to what people say, and you should listen to what people say, but you should also see if you can verify anything or if there's some kind of deeper truth. And to scientists, that means, you know, physically evaluating things in some way. But I'm going to get off topic if I start talking about science. These people have no fucking clue how to lead. They don't understand the power of the people. Some of them kind of understand how to use that power, but none of them are willing to take the responsibility. They send their troops. They send their cronies. I'm trying to avoid being political in these statements, but it's very hard because all I can think of is the insurrection, as people refer to it as, January 6th. Everybody knows this story. And, you know, I think a lot of people believe that Trump was responsible for that. But if he was, he should have been leading it. And even the people who were responsible for it weren't really leading it, right? They're wearing masks. They know what they're doing is wrong. With the way that the world is recorded everywhere, you know, anonymity is important. I get that. And that's why people want to mask. But this is a point in history where I refuse to feel like I'm the one who has to mask to talk about basic human rights and respect for people. These people don't know what it takes to lead. You know what it takes to lead? Is you stand up. You make a stance. You get people together. You take to the streets as a group. Okay, so they're not at the town halls. They're not doing what we want. Well, who's the one fucking up in your neighborhood, okay? I don't necessarily have an ICE agency in my neighborhood that I can keep accountable, okay? I could go find one if there's a problem with that one in particular, okay? But I would love to travel and go to some of these places, but I feel like some of these places, those problems are outside my neighborhoods or outside my domain. I still want to get engaged. And it's hard when you have a government state who's prosecuting people just for standing up and saying something without taking physical action. But if you had, 1,000, 5,000 people standing in front of an ICE agency who had wrongly deported a man, I think they're gonna think twice about the way that they treat those people in that neighborhood, huh? These are times where we need to get ourselves organized. Every individual, now they've given us platforms. Everyone has their own platform. They can post anywhere. I have a website. I'm not dependent on YouTube, but I can post things on YouTube, Facebook. I can say, hey, I'm going somewhere on a day, and meet me there. And we're going to walk, and we're going to have a conversation with these people that we disagree with. And trust me, I'm somebody who wants to get the other person's perspective. I want to get down to the bottom of things. I accept an incredibly high standard of truth for the things that I stand for. And I try to stay limited in those things that you strongly stand for, because you can only do so many things. You have to choose a day and a thing to fight for. You can't fight for every single issue. But there are 365 days in the year, so if you were really devoted, you could fight to that many issues. But you have to pick your battles. You have to pick your audience. You have to find people who agree with you and are willing to do what it takes to keep people accountable and to make your opinions heard. And personally, I'm all for harassing public figures. Okay, if you're going to be a Supreme Court judge and you piss people off, you better expect them to start looking, where's this guy located? I think that's a natural thing, because ain't nothing gonna change somebody's mind except getting in their face and telling them. Okay, we can call them up on the phone, sure. That's an easy thing to do. And we all should do that. And by the way, I am doing that for my particular region. But what's important is that we join together and we fight and we join up and we use our power, not to hurt, not to suppress, but simply to be heard. It's so simple. It's so funny. It's so sad. They determine the value system. They create the money. They charge you taxes. They create the value systems. And look at how they're using that power. And I, for one, am no longer willing to accept it. I am over it. If I have to run for office, I will do that. I don't want that. Please, God, somebody else run for office and I will back you if you make sense. Look, let me explain to you when I will change my opinion. There are many times. Let me give one example recently that kind of struck me. All this stuff about the border and the drugs and the fentanyl and all this stuff. You know, for a long time I've agreed with and believed in some kind of semblance of deep state, I think is the term people would use, where, you know, there's government agencies in the background and they're looking at data and they're doing stuff and people are freaking out about Doge doing all this stuff right now. And it's like, well, okay, whatever, just one more fucking person. Like, they all have access to it. The government's had all this stuff for years. And like, I don't necessarily trust the government has my best interest, but we keep them accountable. That's what we do. And now we put this fucking criminal, not me, by the way, but y'all, put this criminal who loves abuses of power, who, look, I don't understand all the facts. I never fucking cared about any politics. I want to stay out of it. This election, this most recent election cycle, this is 2025 now I'm speaking, was the first and only cycle in my political history that I ever voted for a primary candidate. I've joined Republican or Democratic Party primarily in order to vote against, in their primaries, the Republican or Democratic primaries, to vote against the person who I believe is more corrupt. And I did that with Trump, by the way. The whole time. Join their primaries, vote against him. I have very limited ways to fight back against this insanity. I don't understand all the details. The world is very complex. But if I understand some of the details, he bought and sold the same condo 1,300 times. Okay, there's an FBI investigation back into it way back in the day. It's corruption. It's money laundering. No real person does anything like this. I mean, we've heard the guy bankrupt casinos. That's what I hear that and I believe that, and it makes sense. And I haven't seen personal business records. By the way, I believe he's the only president who hasn't released his tax records. I don't know. I can't seem to find them, but my people, I'm getting distracted because this is all so unprecedented. I'm trying to talk about when I've changed my mind. So, so the first time I voted, I voted for Kamala, just because I could not. There is no third party, okay? I always have voted third party. I've always voted independent, but they don't exist, okay? You can't, it doesn't matter. Your vote is thrown away. And every person who I know, and I tell them I vote independent or I vote the other party, they've always said to me, oh, you're just letting this corrupt person win. And I mean, they're not wrong, because of the way that our voting system is, winner takes all, one takes all. We don't have a ranked, choice sort of that would fix some of the problems. But it just really all needs to be more balanced based on the population. I mean, it's very all or nothing. And, it's very tragic the way that we run our systems these days, because the fact that gerrymandering can so easily exist. And I've heard, recently I heard something, you feel like I'm digressing, and I kind of am. But that point was about changing the thought topic, and now I'm I'm just gonna go on my ramble, and you guys are gonna have to deal with me and keep up with me, because there's a lot of things going on here, and there's a lot of stuff in this head, and it's hard to get it all out. I might have to clip this or trim this or something, but oh boy. So previous thought was about how I changed my voting. I, for the first time, voted Democrat. The first time in my political career. Because I did believe that, because the voting system. And look, there are people who have done papers on this, and, there's, Veritasium video on ranked voting and how it would solve some of these problems. And I think it's important to familiarize yourself and educate yourself with some of these things. I mean, like, even simple things like, what is the deficit? Most people don't understand what the deficit is, or like, what is money and where does money come from? Like, most people don't understand that. Like, most people think that your taxes go to pay for the things that the government does. But that's not how it works. And the deficit is, basically the deficit is the amount of money in circulation. And they act like that's a terrible thing while hoarding all this money. I'm really trying to understand both sides. But when I listen to a lot of these really hard, right-leaning people, everybody has ads, right? And like ads for shoes, or ads for personal goods, or ads for healthcare or something. These people, at least a quarter of their ads are about gold. and about hoarding and maintaining wealth in some way. And like, I get it. People want security. But it seems to me that there's a philosophy that thinks that the way to get security is to hoard wealth. And then there's a philosophy that says the way for more people to have better lives is to distribute that wealth. And it's not really that complicated of a subject. I don't know. At least to the extremes that we currently have it in this ecosystem, okay? Every topic is complicated and it gets down to the subtleties. But like the extremities of the 1%, you know, the 2,000 people that hold more power than any 10 million of us in America, okay? Like, let me tell you one other time where I've changed my mind. Border politics. Border politics has been going on for a long time. You know, Trump has run on securing the border, and I didn't necessarily follow or care for those issues. I mean, I had certainly known plenty of illegal immigrants. I didn't know for sure that they were illegal immigrants, but, you know, I've known those kinds of people, and I'm not, like, trying to be offensive or something, right? But, like, I people who worked in strawberry patches and who worked in farming and agriculture and, who work in cleaning and I don't know, maybe it's just a stereotype, but you know, I work at currently at Intel, and I don't necessarily want to expose my position in the globe, so I probably won't say more than that at the moment. But I work with all sorts of people. Literally, none of the people who I work with are naturalized. They've all come from somewhere else. Every single engineer that I work with is come from outside the United States, okay? And I appreciate and respect all of these people. They're very intelligent people. And the cleaning staff are also people of very diverse groups. Okay? All of the staff are from very diverse groups, and I love that, you know? But we do have a Mexican cleaning guy. And, like, I'm not being racist. I'm literally just saying the facts. Like, I don't, you know, and he's probably not an illegal. I don't fucking know. I assume Intel, like, does their, you know, groundwork and does their paperwork correctly, so I assume he's not illegal. But I'm just saying, you know, people assume that these foreigners in these positions, and they're, you know, a bunch of white guys in an office, and the foreigners cleaning their building, and they're like, oh yeah, this guy's illegal, huh? Like, you don't fucking know. You're just being judgmental. You could talk to the guy and, like, find out what his life story is. If he isn't illegal, is he sending money back home? What's his story, you know? Or is he a drug trafficker? Did he come across the border? When did he come across the border? How did that all happen? Was he a mule? What's his story? Because you argue that there are all these fucking mules. You argue that there's all this fucking stuff going on. But I talk to people. I get in their faces, and I ask about their story. And I learn about them, and I listen. And I change my mind. When I hear the farmers at the border talking about all these people crossing their lands, and the pack mules, and, you know, I hear about the actual threats to their lives, and they talk, you know, and who, okay, maybe they're lying, I don't know, but I take their personal testimony, and I at least listen to it. Now, I'm not getting in their faces. They're in fucking Texas. I watch a YouTube video or something, right? I heard something through some modern media online. Okay? And yet, I've never met a single person who crossed the border in that way that I've talked to about that. Now, that doesn't mean shit unless you're getting out and you're talking to the people in your neighborhood, okay? But people are so afraid these days that it's incredibly hard to connect with them. I try to go to my neighbors, and a lot of them don't even open the door. They see this guy standing there that they don't know, and they just don't open the door. And I've knocked on these people's houses 10 times in the last year. Or I guess I've been here 2 years now. I also left my number because I think it's important for people in the community to know each other and to have each other's number. I mean, if I saw a fire going on in my neighbor's house, I don't know, I would want to call them. I'm putting my phone, I'm just imagining it. I'm putting my fucking phone to my ear thinking, I'm going to call them and say, hey, are you okay? I'm going to get my one. If I see a fire in my neighbor's fucking yard, I'm going to go with my hose and run over there right away. All right. But if I have their number and they're not home, I can say, oh, hey, I'm dealing with a fire at your fucking house. Come deal with it. I mean, you call 911 first to get the fire department out too, right? There are a series of things that you do, but being able to contact them and to have the communication with them when you need it is incredibly vital. And these are just your neighbors, simple things. Okay. And we are so resistant. We are so isolated, so resistant to, we're so afraid of everyone. Do they want to hurt us? Are they drug traffickers? Are they doing drugs? Are they? Oh God! What do you think? Are they? What could they be? Could they be Democrats? Oh God! Oh God! What if they were Republicans? Well, that would be even fucking worse. Oh God! Well, what else is there? Oh, are they Mexicans? Oh shit! Those people are scary too. Oh no, they're just Indians. Okay, it's okay. Oh wait, they're scary too? We're deporting them too? Oh shit. Oh well, my dentist is a Venezuelan, so I guess fuck him. I mean, he's got a shitload of tattoos. Nice guy, brilliant guy. I mean, he gives me great advice, I feel like. This is wild, people. Stay together. Stay in tune. Stay in touch. I don't have a catchphrase yet. This isn't really my thing. I don't want to be in this space. I don't want to be in the fucking public eye. I really don't want to edit this video, but I don't think I can even post it to YouTube without clearing the F-bombs. I don't know. I don't know terms and conditions of anything because I've never tried to do this stuff. I don't care about it. But y'all are making me care. All right, y'all crazies out there screaming your nonsense. I have a very high standard of truth, and I investigate things. And I think you should do the same. By the way, court documents are available at SupremeCourt.gov. And your individual state may have its own place where it releases more documents. Again, I don't know all the details of all of this, but I intend to learn more day by day. And I hope you all do too. And I just want to say, I have never thought of myself, I have thought of myself as a radical and an anarchist, but I've never thought of running for anything. Or getting involved in politics. I feel like politics, you may not fuck with politics, but politics, now it's fucking with me. So, I mean, you're endangering my wife's family with your rhetoric. Somebody who's been in the U.S. since he was 13, who's a grandfather now, and has been not perfect. Nobody's perfect. But he's a wonderful man. And he tries his best. And I respect him. But because of where he's from, he's been... Oh, and because he calls home, he calls his family. Back in the country that he came from, that he immigrated from when he was 13. He fled here, by the way, for religious religious prosecution. He was a Christian, and he was being prosecuted there, and so he came to America. And the Trump administration has harassed him and has investigations into him. I don't mind investigations into people, right? Okay, that's not the fucking problem. Like, you're wiretapping our fucking phones. Why are you coming around banging on this guy's door when he's done nothing wrong, you fucking assholes? They have the information, they have the power, but they act recklessly, and they act like they don't have the power. Why are you going to this guy's door 4 times to interview him? And they come into your house. They're not like social workers. They come into your house. They got like all this body armor on. They got guns. They're carrying a taser. They got pepper spray. They got a knife sticking out of their shoulder pouch. They got a camera on their chest. Well, these guys coming through, it's fucking insane. They use this power. We got this oak tree above my house. It's just like the amount of pollen right now. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. I gotta go climbing. But peace, love. I only have one hand, so. Keep trying, people. Let's stand together. And we'll do what's right for this country. I, for one, I don't worship the Constitution, but I, for one, stand for the Constitution. And I am willing to defend it in my interpretation of it, okay? And that, that's the shitty part, is that everybody will claim they're defending the Constitution. Certain people, let me just say, Trump, you're very concerned with the Second Amendment rights, and I applaud you for that. But the way that you're trampling on these other rights in the Bill of Rights, due process, please just stop pretending like you give a shit about the Constitution when you're following. I mean, they're like, multiple points in a row. They're very close to each other. And you're just like, oh yeah, I read the Constitution pretty well. I support the Constitution, yeah. Yeah, man, I support the gun rights. Yeah, that's all I care about. No, freedom of speech. Well, yeah, everyone loves freedom of speech. I gotta be free to speak, man. Fuck these slur. Yeah. I don't know why. I'm not like I have an eye patch. I'm just blinding myself to the truth. Because these people don't know how to fucking read the law. Like, the word